May I have your attention, please? If you have not done so at this time, please sign in and please silence all cell phones and pagers. Thank you.
Good morning. This meeting of the Louisiana Tax Commission is hereby called to order. This meeting is being held at the offices of the Louisiana Tax Commission at 1051 North 3rd Street, Suite 225, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The date is Wednesday, February 13th, 2019, and the time is 10:01 a.m. Please call the roll.
Chairman Shahardy.
Here.
Commissioner Wagasback.
Here.
Commissioner West.
Present.
Commissioner Vercher.
Here.
Commissioner Wood.
Here.
5 present and a quorum.
Thank you. There being no old business to take up at this time, I'll accept a motion for the approval of the minutes of the February 6th, 2019 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Vercher.
Yes.
Commissioner Wagasback.
Yes.
Commissioner Wood.
Yes.
Commissioner West.
Yes.
And Chairman Shahardy.
Yes. The next item on the agenda is the appeal of Assessor Sheila Bordelon versus the Lincoln Parish Board of Review, docket number 18-22061-002. I'll ask any and all witnesses who plan on testifying today to please come forward and be sworn in.
If you're not a lawyer, I'm going to swear you in. You'll raise your right hand. I'll administer the oath. Say "I do" after I administer the oath, and state your name for the record. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Say your name.
Courtney Hall, Parish Administrator, Lincoln Parish Police Jury.
Thank you.
I do. Sheila Bordelon.
Great.
Thank you. All right, this is an appeal by the assessor, so I'll ask Mr. Eddington to move forward.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Eddington, Counsel for the Lincoln Parish Assessor's Office. I'll be fairly brief. This is a somewhat unusual appeal that's we're to be candid, kind of just passing through the Tax Commission. This matter originated with an assessment of a building owned by the Lincoln Parish Police Jury but used for commercial purposes. It's leased out for private use. The assessor placed this matter on the assessment roll. There was no protest or appeal filed, but at the Board of Review hearing, the Lincoln Parish Police Jury, sitting as a Board of Review, suspended the rules, added an agenda item, and then proceeded to declare its own property exempt from ad valorem taxation. It is our position that this is a pure legality challenge. It is subject to the exclusive jurisdiction of the courts. But ironically, 47-1989 says that the only way for me to get to courts is to appeal the decision of the Board of Review, which of course brings us through here.
I agree with you that it's a legal challenge. For the Board of Review to even hear it, number one, there's a certain procedure to follow to get to the Board of Review. As I review the record that was before us, that procedure was not followed.
That's correct.
But even if that procedure were followed, it doesn't appear to me that the Board of Review would have jurisdiction over a legality issue.
That's certainly something I agree with.
So we don't have jurisdiction over a legality issue.
That is also correct.
So my
Why am I here?
inclination is to say dismiss the appeal based on the fact that we don't have jurisdiction. Because I'm talking out loud.
Yeah,
I'm thinking
yeah.
out loud. I mean, please tell me where I'm wrong. We're taking a procedure to challenge the correctness of the assessment, to use it to get to whether or not this property should or should not be exempt from taxation.
Correct.
Seems to me to be the wrong procedure.
Well, unfortunately, 47-1989 says that any decision of the Board of Review is final unless appealed to the Tax Commission. That's why I made the comment we're kind of just passing
Okay, well,
through.
all right. So walk me through then. if the commission were to dismiss the appeal based upon a lack of jurisdiction, what do you think happens at that point?
I'm not sure. I didn't really, think through that angle. What I would suggest is that the tax commission simply note its lack of jurisdiction, and to be blunt, stop at that point and just allow us to proceed on to district court. Or perhaps note that as it lacks jurisdiction, because jurisdiction can't be conferred by the consent of the parties, to neither affirm nor deny, confirm or overrule the action of the Board of Review. As I said, we're just kind of we're passing through on our way to the courthouse.
Why not have gone straight to court on the legality issue? In other words, and again, we're both lawyers, but why not sue the police jury for having overstepped its bounds, so to speak? Because
47-1989, simply as they were acting in their capacity as the Board of Review, the exclusive remedy by statute is appeal to the tax commission. Like I said, it's jurisdictionally, it's a bizarre set of circumstances. Ideally, what we believe the police jury should have done was file suit, asserting that the property was exempt. They didn't do that. Instead, they chose to take matters in their own hand, which forces us to go down this route.
Were the taxes paid? Do we know that the taxes were paid?
Yes, they were paid under protest.
Paid under protest. Have you all filed suit?
No.
Within 30 days?
No.
Is it within the 30-day period? Are we still
We're beyond that now.
We're beyond that.
Does the lease with the tenant allow the police jury to bill it back to those tenants? Is it a triple net type lease?
It's kind of a unique situation. When we bought the building, there were already tenants occupying it, so we just assumed the existing leases, that were in there, and then those continued to renew as they were. I'm not aware of any specific language in the existing leases that refers to, taxes to be paid. We were never taxed the, entire time that we've owned the building for the last 9 years.
Who owned it before you?
It was a private individual.
So they donated it to the police jury, or did?
No, the police jury went to the bond commission and took a $1.5 million bond issue out to
buy the property?
To buy the property, and then they were using the income from the leases to service the bond, which is why we feel like it's.
So you don't know whether the leases allow you to bill back the tenant, or is the tenant actually responsible for those
Specifically,
taxes?
I do not. I haven't looked at that, but you're right. Most leases do allow CAM charges and billing.
I don't know if that's relevant here, but I'm just.
Were you unaware of this until this came before the Board of Review? Did this just because y'all?
In early 2018, they were renegotiating a lease with the Dollar General, and I let Mr. Hall know that the building would be on the tax roll and to put that into their new lease agreement with the Dollar General.
Do you
I never
remember
saw
that?
the current lease, so
I don't
I don't
remember
know.
that was specifically tied to a renewal with a lease. I think the Dollar General lease that we have now is a 5-year lease.
But were you aware there was an issue regarding this before the Board of Appeal hearing where it was put on the agenda?
This is the first time that we were made aware that we would possibly have to pay property taxes on this property after 9 years.
And although not a proper review appeal, but there's no argument on valuation, on the value?
The value was never questioned.
We're certainly unaware of any dispute over valuation.
I think that kind of gets us out of the picture.
So, Mr. Eddington, you're saying that you have to stop here first before going to district court in accordance with 1989.
Correct.
If we make no ruling, how does that affect you going to district court?
Any ruling of the tax commission is appealable, as long as it's a final determination. And again, that's why, ideally, the tax commission would simply note that it has no authority
Right.
to
Okay.
address the legality of this determination.
So if that is our ruling, then you're
And then,
free and clear to go to district court.
right, because I'm certainly not appealing your determination.
Can we have our counsel confirm that?
But let me say,
Isn't it a
I
usual
don't,
case?
yeah.
Do y'all concur on the
Let me-
47-1989?
Well, let me say this real quick. Yeah, but it's coming through a procedure that's supposed to challenge the valuation. So if your argument is correct, the Board of Review didn't have the authority to do what they did. We don't have the authority to uphold what the Board of Review or pass judgment on a legality issue. Then under that same statute, the court would not seem to be able to pass judgment on a legality issue by using a procedure which is established to challenge the value.
That's correct. The court will not be able to pass on whether the property is exempt or not. What it will be able to pass on is whether the Lincoln Parish Police Jury had the legal authority to make a determination that it was exempt.
If the
But that's
procedure they used
different.
was correct in revising the rules for the Board of Review hearing. Is that
Well,
what you're saying?
not just in adding it to the agenda, but in voting on their own and declaring their own property exempt from taxation.
So you're trying to get to court
Yes.
to challenge the way in which the Board of Review did what they did,
In part.
procedurally.
Well, not just procedurally, but also jurisdictionally. Let's assume, and this is not what happened, but that the parish had filed a formal protest more than 10 days in advance of the hearing, saying, we hereby object to this assessment, we believe we're exempt. I would still be here because of our core contention that the police jury does not have the authority, whether it's own property or anybody else's, to determine that property is exempt. But again, since they chose to do it in the context of the Board of Review, the appeal process to get to court is, mandated, tax commission, then district court.
So what you're saying is that if you get it to district court, that the court, while it itself may not have jurisdiction to pass on the legality question because of
Correct.
the statutory scheme that got it to the court, got it to us,
Right.
and then got it to the court. What you're saying is that you could go to the court and say, under that scheme, the procedure by which the Board of Review declared the property exempt was incorrect. They
Yeah.
should have filed a formal protest within 7 days, 10 days, whatever it is, notice to the Board of Review and go on that route rather than amend the agenda and simply add it to the agenda.
No, again, to be more precise, that even had they filed a timely protest, that would not be sufficient to vest them with jurisdiction. I'll give you.
No, I agree with that.
You're familiar with the New Orleans Riverwalk case that just went through the courts. That originated as a Board of Review appeal that came to the tax commission, and the court ultimately determined that no, this was a legality challenge, not a correctness challenge, that the proper procedure was to go directly to court, which would have exclusive jurisdiction, and that they've therefore vacated all the rulings going back to the Board of Review because there was no subject matter jurisdiction.
I mean, my concern, it's not my concern, I guess, but my thought process is that you could end up in court with the court saying, this is the wrong procedure.
I believe that's precisely what the court's going to say.
And so then the question becomes is, the assessor put it on the roll,
Yes.
the taxpayer, in this case the police jury, paid the bill under protest, but did not file suit within 30 days.
Correct.
So it's over.
Yes.
That's where you're headed.
Yes.
Okay.
That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah.
To respond to the question that was
Yeah,
posed to
I'm
me.
sorry, yeah.
No problem. With regard to our jurisdiction, notwithstanding the Board of Review did, 2134 prescribes a very specific procedure for challenging legality of taxes and removes jurisdiction from the Tax Commission. We have jurisdiction to hear the correctness of an assessment, which is a valuation challenge. We do not have jurisdiction to hear a legality challenge. So, in my opinion, any ruling we make is inappropriate because we are without jurisdiction to pass on this matter at all. We lack jurisdiction. In the same way that even if there hadn't been a board review, if the assessor or the taxpayer had filed with us directly, in the same way we would not have jurisdiction.
So my motion would be we take no action, noting that we lack jurisdiction.
I don't think that's wholly inappropriate. I think it's more appropriate to dismiss the case because I don't know if we can take any action at all. Any affirmative ruling suggests that we had jurisdiction to hear this in the first place. I don't know if we have subject matter jurisdiction to issue any ruling. A ruling even noting that we lack jurisdiction still seems problematic.
Okay. Well, let's hear from Mr. Hall. We need to
I mean,
get us out of this dilemma.
well, the assessor is the one that filed the appeal. I mean, which is why we're here.
Mhm.
I think that we can, we tried to kind of amicably work this out before we got to this point, but I think we were pretty much committed, once the appeal was filed. So we're pretty much following procedure. I'm just here to represent the police jury.
Okay.
and
Do you know why the parish chose not to file suit within 30 days?
I do not.
Okay.
We didn't get that advice from our legal counsel anyway. So.
Okay.
Ultimately, you want to find out if the property is exempt or not.
Right, and we feel it's a unique situation. I mean, if you look at the statute, and the email that I got from Sheila that referred to the statute, and I think you have a copy of it in your packet, there's an A and a B. And, all the factors that applied to those items that were in B, which the police jury is a political subdivision of the state of Louisiana, which is under A. It just says, any property owned by political subdivision used for public purposes. And then, what's the definition of a public purpose? Well, in our determination, it was being used for that by basis of the rents being used to pay the bond issue. Now, after that's paid off, that could be a different story. But the reason I'm here today is because she appealed and we got on the agenda, the commission.
Okay. Any other questions? Or?
I have a question for the assessor, just for my own information. In the past, when the police jury has had issues with their property, do they usually file appeals, or how do y'all usually handle that? Was this normal, or was this out of the norm for them to do this?
This is the first case that
Ever?
I'm aware of.
Okay, thank you.
And I would assume all the other property owned by Lincoln Parish
Exempt.
is exempt. So
Right.
there's no although the property is assessable, it goes on the tax rolls. It does have a value. It's got a fair market value and an assessment. It's on the exempt roll, so there's no taxes due. So probably not a whole lot of worry about what the value is for that reason. All right. I mean, I wish there was something we could do to try to help you guys out, but I think we lack total jurisdiction whatsoever to pass judgment on the merits of the legality of whether or not the property is exempt. And Mr. Hoffman, correct me if I'm wrong in my motion, but my motion would be that we dismiss the appeal on the basis that we don't have jurisdiction to determine a legality question. The legality question being whether or not the property should be exempt from taxation.
Yeah, that would be my recommendation based on the procedure that's prescribed by 2134.
All right. Well, that's my motion. Do I have a second?
I'd second it.
Commissioner Vercher?
Yes.
Commissioner Wagasback?
Yes.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner West?
Yes.
And Chairman Shahardy?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
All right. I don't know who won or lost today. I'm not sure. Or if it's a win or a loss.
Like I said, we're just kind of passing through.
I
Well,
think the lawyers win.
I think the lawyers will win in
Lawyers
this one.
always win.
Yeah, no problem.
It's very interesting.
I think
though.
The legal
Safe
fees
trip
are,
back.
legal fees are probably going to exceed the taxes.
Possibly.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all
Commissioners.
for coming, and good luck. All right, the next items on the agenda are consideration of change orders.
Good morning, Phyllis King, Louisiana Tax Commission. We have a total of 1,293 change orders for today's meeting. Staff has reviewed and recommends that the Commission approve 1,240 change orders and place 53 in pending status.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move that we accept the staff recommendations and approve 1,240 change orders and place 53 in pending status.
You have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Vercher,
Yes.
Commissioner Wagasback.
Yes.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner West,
Yes.
and Chairman Shahardy.
Yes. Now, we have some pending change orders from previous meetings.
We do. We have 187 pending change orders that the staff has reviewed. They recommend after reviewing these that the Commission approve 80. And per assessor request, we have 2 that are requests for denial and 1 to be withdrawn.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion.
Okay?
With respect to the pending change orders, make a motion we approve 80, deny 2, and acknowledge 1 withdrawal as recommended by staff.
Second.
Commissioner Vercher,
Yes.
Commissioner Wagasback.
Yes.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner West,
Yes.
and Chairman Shahardy.
Yes. We'll now consider tax sale cancellations.
Tanisha Malvo on behalf of the Louisiana Tax Commission. Today we have a total of 3 tax sale cancellations. They're all in St. Tammany Parish. One was for lack of notification. The second one was for a partial dual assessment, and the third one was for dual assessment. Staff request approval of these tax sale cancellations.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we accept staff recommendations pertaining to the tax sale cancellations as presented by staff.
Second.
Commissioner Vercher,
Yes.
Commissioner Wagasback.
Yes.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner West,
Yes.
and Chairman Shahardy.
Yes. The last matter coming before the Commission, I have filed my disclosure form as required by Title 47, Section 1833, and would like to accept a motion from the Commission to accept that form and approve the filing.
Make a motion that we accept Chairman Lawrence Shahardy's disclosure form as presented.
Second.
Commissioner Vercher,
Yes.
Commissioner Wagasback.
Yes.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner West,
Yes.
and Chairman Shahardy.
I guess I should abstain.
Yes.
Okay. All right. There being no other matters to come before the Commission at this time, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Ms. King, how many pending do we have left?
We would have the 187 minus 83, so that would leave us with what,
104.
10, yeah.
And do you add the 53 pending that we just put to that?
No.
Okay.
That'll
We'd
be,
have 157, I believe,
that'll
pending.
be the
Yeah, we're having a real problem. We have 11 field people working. They're working on appraisals for our hearings. They're working on the ratio study, and they're also reviewing these pending change orders. So, you know, we only have so many resources. My real concern is we're going to fall way behind, but I don't know at this point. I'm pushing to get more work product out, but with only 11 field people, it's being proven to be rather difficult. So, just trying to keep it at a manageable number. All right. Again,
Mr. The motion to
Accept the
adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Commissioner Vercher,
Yes.
Commissioner Wagasback.
Yes.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner West,
Yes.
and Chairman Shahardy.
Yes.